Hi, my name is Denise, and welcome to my new YouTube channel, Converse and Consume. Here we'll make a meal, fellowship, and talk about a variety of topics. Today we're talking Black Panther. As you know, it's coming out February 15th, the day after Valentine's, and we have to show it some love. Facts about Black Panther. If you're like me, you may have been less than aware about the comic. I didn't really know anything about it. I've heard things, but I didn't know much about it. So I decided for this YouTube video that I'd learn more. I'll give some quick and easy background details about the movie. And if you want to know more, I'll give a link for you to find out more. And you could also just look for it like I did. There's information all over the place. Okay, now Black Panther was created by Jack Kirby and possibly Stan Lee. There's some controversy there. But Stan Lee, Marvel, okay, so he kind of creates everything, you know, creates, steals, or takes credit, whatever. But Jack Kirby created Black Panther. Black Panther was first seen in Fantastic Four, Volume 1, number 52. That was in 1966. What's interesting about that is that's just 2 years after the Civil Rights Act of 1964 passed. So I guess equality was on everyone's mind, even in the comic book world. Black Panther has been affiliated with some of your faves, like Fantastic Four, as a member and a financier. So he's paid and he has a few coins. He's been associated with Secret Avengers. That may have been pre-1964 because he was a secret. He's also been affiliated with Pendragons and Queen's Vengeance. Don't know what those are. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. If you want to know more, you know what to do. Okay, so Black Panther, like I said, is a person named T'Challa. T'Challa is of royal descent, okay? Royalty. He is 6 feet tall, so my height. Give it up for tall people. He is 200 pounds. Don't worry about my weight because I ain't sharing that. And T'Challa has superhuman senses and physical attributes, courtesy of the heart-shaped herb. I wonder what that herb is. I didn't see a picture of it, but it ain't that herb. I don't think it's that herb. Okay? And T'Challa is a tactician, a strategist, scientist, banker, and master of all forms of unarmed combat. His fighting style incorporates acrobatics, and he has animal-like undertones to his fighting style, hence the name Black Panther. Okay, he's always one step ahead of the game because he plays chess and not checkers. The man is smart. He does what it takes to achieve his goals, and he does what it takes to protect the kingdom of Wakanda. Now, T'Challa is a former school teacher, which is great because Black men are often not teachers. There's some reports, and I'll include the links below, that only 23% of all teachers are men, and 2% of those are Black men. So it's important that we have Black teachers and that we have Black male teachers. And T'Challa was a Black male teacher and also a scientist. And that field is also lacking in Blacks, and more men than women, but Blacks are still a minority in science. So he's just doing it all, and he's really paving the way for Blacks. Not just paving the way because we've been great, but it puts it on display, especially when you have such a big film coming up. So I'll have some links to those little tidbits and links to find out more about Black Panther. And T'Challa, he's a true king. I have a spoiler alert that I don't know that everyone knows about, but the movie Black Panther has nothing to do with the social movement. It actually came out before the Black Panther Party came out. Now, I didn't do enough research to know if they were inspired by the comic, and that's where the name came from, or if it's the strength of the animal. I didn't do any research, so you can do that, and if you find out, put it below in the comments because I love, love, love to know the details and to know the facts. Okay, so Wakanda. Wakanda is in Equatorial Africa. It's located directly in the middle of the African nations of Nairobi, Uganda, Kenya, Somalia, and Ethiopia. In homage to the geographical area in which Wakanda is based, I will be cooking East African food. My menu includes Wakanda wings, which I will be cooking in a buffalo wing type of style. I'll be putting them in the oven though, no deep frying of these. And I'll be using berbere seasoning. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but that is B-E-R-B-E-R-E. And it's a mixture of spices that include sweet paprika, ground cinnamon, ground ginger, ground turmeric, ground nutmeg, and salt. It can contain other spices, but that's generally the basis for that spice and that seasoning that's widely used in East Africa. Along with the wings, we will have wali wanazi. That's an East African coconut rice dish that's bursting with flagrant flavors, and we'll also have kachumbari. Okay, so let's begin cooking. I've already prepared my wings as far as put them in a bowl so that I can get right to it because I'm very hungry right now, so I'm gonna hurry up and cook the wings. They shouldn't take that long. I've preheated my oven to 375, and so I'll start adding the seasonings. I'll be using some extra virgin olive oil. That helps to give it a little crisp in the oven. I'm not measuring anything. You can if you want to, but I'm not going to. And I have some berbere spice. I actually got it from a vendor by mail, pre-made, so I didn't have to make it myself, although you can use those ingredients that I mentioned before and create your own if you'd like. So I have this. I've transferred it into this container from the original packaging. And this I will use a measuring spoon for because I don't want it all to spill in the chicken. But I'm not going to tell you how much I'm using because it doesn't matter. I'm cooking like I do at home because I am at home. And at home, I don't measure things out. I just put stuff in until I decide I don't want to put any more in. And that's what I'm doing here. So I also have Bahut Jolokia. I'm probably butchering that name, but that's what it looks like. B-H-U-T-J-O-L-O-K-I-A. This is actually an Indian spice, and it's a very, very hot pepper. I'm going to put a smidgen, a very small amount of this in the chicken wings because it's extremely hot. We have had challenges in this house where we try this and it's never successful for anyone. But I want it on these wings because I like hot and spicy foods. Okay, so I'll use those. I will use some paprika in here, despite the fact that they have it in the berry. I'll use it here, or berry. I don't know how to pronounce it if you haven't figured that out. But I'll just put some in here just for coloring on the wings. I don't think it'll make much of a difference as far as the flavor. It won't overpower what I have going. And I want to use some fresh garlic that I will be chopping up here and putting along with the wings. While I chop it up, I wanted to talk about what Black Panther means. I'm not on Twitter. Actually, I am on Twitter, but I don't follow anybody and I don't have any followers. I think I've posted 2 or 3 things for a contest or with a reason, but I might get on there. But I thought it was interesting that they had that trending, and I did go because you can look at Twitter without being a member, although I am, but I just go snooping. I don't go into my account. And the things that people were saying, it was so positive. You always hear so many things about Black Twitter, and I love how savage Black Twitter is. I'm all for the salaciousness of it all. But I'm not petty, but I do like when people are kind of petty. I have to be honest. But there were so many positive things that they were saying that Black Panther meant to them. And I thought what a major theme that I saw in a lot of people's posts was the importance of heroes. And I've always felt that it is important to have heroes that look like us. It's not by accident that oftentimes they don't look like us, and many times the villain or the crook or the criminal or the miscreant does look like us. So this movie is very impactful for that. And that's important because we have like movies that center around black people. There's often a white hero in those movies, or the topic is a little different. But this entire movie with an entire black cast, it's just amazing. And while we have our sister Monique, although all of you may not agree with her method, and maybe you don't agree with what she's saying, I'm not sure why you wouldn't, because we all know that there is not fair wages. There never has been. So as a woman and a black woman, we know that she's not telling any lies. There's no lies told there. But people don't like Monique, so, you know, they're not listening to her. But even if you don't like Monique, there's two very known black actresses that are saying that they did not get equal pay until a white woman stood up and requested it on their behalf. If that's not telling you there's a problem, then I don't know what is. But one thing that's good about this movie is that it will show, much like Girls Trip, that black people go to the movies, black people spend money on movies, and black people want to see movies that center around topics that they want to see. This is how my Wakanda wings look before being cooked. You can see the bits of garlic there, and they look good even without being cooked. So we'll put them in the oven. It's on 375. I don't time it either. I just look at it, and when it looks right, then I take it out. But if you want to cook things properly, there's internal temperatures and things like that. But I'm at my house, so I can cook the way I want to. And I'll be moving on to the rice, the coconut rice. It's actually called Wali Wa Nazi. I haven't forgotten about the films, but as I talk about the films, I will also be making this rice. Okay, so Wali Wa Nazi, East African inspired coconut curry rice. I actually have a whole billboard devoted to this, lights up and everything, but the words, you can't see them because they're coming across oddly. I don't know if that will translate differently once the video is made. I can't see why it would, but the magic of technology is above my understanding. Okay, so top grossing films, black films that is. And by black, I'm not sure what they're using to deem it black. Black director, black cast, of black interest. I'm not sure how they're measuring and calling it a black film, but I also call it a black film, although Get Out is on this list. And I don't necessarily consider Get Out a black film as far as only interesting to black people. I think that a lot of people might have wanted to see Get Out. I could be wrong. Wouldn't be the first time. But Get Out is on the list. It's not the top grossing one, but it has time to still get there, I guess. This was as of August 9th of 2017, so there's some updated data that I don't have. But at that time, it grossed $175 million in the box office. I'm not sure how much they gave to the film, but with all of this Monique business happening, there's definitely been talk of what it means for a film to gross a certain amount versus how much was spent on the film. Generally, black films don't have large budgets. So when they gross $175 billion in the movie theater, they've made quite a profit for the company, which means that, well, actually 175 million, correction. That means that the company is making quite a bit of profit off of black films, although they continue to act as if they're not profitable. Go figure. Gabrielle Union also talked about this and how they look at the little black film that could and how they make so much money, but they just put the money that the black film makes into projects that they like, is what she called. I thought that was very PC. I liked it. It was very classy of her to call it that. But she was calling them out, much like Monique is, but y'all don't like Monique, so you don't want to hear it. Coming to America, everybody's favorite. She's your queen to be. Who doesn't love that? 288.8 million. That is a great movie. If I could pay to see it today, I would. It's a great movie. Bad Boys. That was a great movie. 273 million for that one. Great movie. I loved it. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. You couldn't lose with that. Great movie. Made a lot of money. Straight Outta Compton. I know a lot of people loved it. It was okay with me. I guess it was reflective of the times, but I just didn't like the treatment of women in that movie. And I guess that's how it was then. I lived then. I didn't like the treatment of women then when they were talking poorly about women. So I couldn't really get into the movie. I wanted to, but I just didn't. And maybe I need to watch it again. But it did great in the box office. People absolutely loved it. It was an okay movie. I'm not really hating on it. It's just, you know, personally, I get in my feelings about certain things, and that's one of them. But it made $201.6 million, which is awesome. The Butler is on the list. Now, that's a shocker to me because I didn't think people loved that movie, but we went out and we saw it. $176.5 million. And that had that Lee Daniels in it. And you know I've been talking about Monique, and you know about Monique and Lee Daniels. There you have it. And also, it's Big Mama's House. What? That's one of the top grossing black films, Big Mama's House. $173.9 million. I do like Big Mama's House, though. It's a great movie. And those are the top grossing black films. So, a lot of them are older, with the exception of Get Out. They all were pretty old. And I'm shocked that Girls Trip isn't on that, but I don't think it was out yet. I'm sure it has made the list at this point. And that movie, I saw it 3 times at the movie theater, so they got my money 3 times. And it was a good movie. So we know about the highest grossing black films. They're great. And we need more of those, because the more money they make on these films, the more films that they'll make, in theory. But as I said, Gabrielle Union has pointed out that that's not necessarily true. So maybe we do need to hold them at task. Maybe it does take for someone to be as controversial as Monique is about it and as outspoken about it for something to happen. I mean, she is talking about her specific struggle, and we can go on all night about whether or not she deserves as much money as she's asking for. But we can't deny there is inequitable wages. Okay, I am cooking the rice. We're jumping all over the place. Telling you what's in it. Curry, cumin, coriander. There's going to be some coconut milk and some rice. I'm not big on coconut, but it sounds pretty interesting. And I thought, I don't ordinarily eat any African foods, which is sad. Hopefully when we get movies like this going, we'll have more people on there, and we'll get to see more black people in a positive light. So that's the plus in that. I was looking at East African fashion and music in preparation for this video, and it's everything. If you're not into it, you better get into it. I'm going to put some links at the bottom where you can look at what people are wearing, because I know we're all wearing dashikis and things to the movie premiere, and even us coming from an African background, and in theory everybody came from Africa, right? That's what they say. But I think we all kind of generalize what it means to be African. As I said, it's an entire continent with many countries that have different cultural differences. So there's some East African styles that you should get into, and music. Learning about the East African culture with the music and the food and the fashion has been exciting. this rice, although it incorporates an ingredient that I'm not really fond of, coconut. I mean, I like, what's that with the coconut and the pine? You know that drink. I like that. But like eating coconut, I'm not really into. I do like coconut oil and stuff like that, but not usually one for coconut based foods. But this is a very popular East African rice dish, so we'll see what it turns out to be. Okay, so I'm putting onions here in coconut oil, and we'll brown those. We'll get them all fried up and smelling good. I love onions. I love the smell of them. I love the taste of them, raw and or cooked. So we'll just get those going. This calls for coconut milk. I don't know if you ever use it. I've used coconut milk in my hair, and I really like coconut milk for those purposes. The guy at the store actually told me, yeah, get coconut milk for your hair at the grocery store. I went to an Asian mart. Is that politically correct? They call it an Asian mart, so I'm just calling it what they call it. So don't think I'm out here just giving markets ethnicities. They call it an Asian mart. So he said, use it in your hair. I said, okay, I will. I'll take any old suggestion. He looked old and wise. So I used it, and it works really good. So if you got coconut milk, you can cook with it. You can use it in your hair. Just like the coconut oil, you can use it on your skin. You can use it in your hair. You can use it on your lips. And you can fry your chicken with it. So I have the rice going, the coconut milk, the onions, the spices. They all smell so great. It smells wonderful in here. I wish there was like a sniff-o-vision that you could smell it all. My Wakanda wings are still going strong. I add a little coconut oil to those as well. I want to get them nice and brown. I like for my food to have color to it, a nice caramel-like exterior. The flavor has to be there, but also the appearance. So I did add that, and I probably will broil them towards the end to just give it that extra pizzazz. I'm getting so excited because it smells so good. And although I'm not big on coconut, as I've mentioned, the rice actually smells very on point. But now I'm going to move on to the salad. Okay, so this is kachumbari. I will be using the skin of the cucumber because there's nutrients in the skin. There's dietary fiber in that skin, which helps with constipation. I'm not constipated, but what harm could it do to get your pipes to moving? So I'm leaving it on there. And I don't mind the flavor of it, nor do I mind the texture. And I think that the dark green gives it color, a different color. Although the flesh is not bad either. It has a color to it as well, but I just want to keep the skin on. So I'm going to cube it. I probably shouldn't show you all this portion because it's not like I'm Gordon Ramsay. I do it pretty simple, and I just try to get it sliced and diced evenly. I watch a lot of Food Network, so I think I can do it. But yeah, so I'll just cube this cucumber. I'll do two of them. It also calls for tomatoes, Roma tomatoes. I cut corners with the carrots and the cabbage. I got prepackaged stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I wasn't going to shred that stuff. It's okay. It'll be all right. You guys will like it. We'll like it around here. If I could send you a sample, I would. Has cilantro in it. We also have some serrano peppers. I'm not sure if that grows in Africa, but it is a part of this meal. So I don't know, maybe the person who I got the recipe from is also improvising. I will have links to the recipes in the bottom. And I would ask that you all give comments on my video at the bottom about the topics, any other topics that you might want to hear about in the future, any other meals that you'd like to see prepared, all of that. I'm interested in knowing. This is my first YouTube video for mass consumption, so I'm pretty excited. And I'm very excited that I got to do the first one talking about Black Panther, the movie, the continent of Africa, the regions in East Africa, and the food of East Africa. I just find it so important that we connect to something culturally. Here in America, oftentimes we don't have anything to connect to outside of being American, which is cool. You know, we are American. If you were born here, you're American. But to have something to point back to is wonderful. And that pride that you feel when you have something that connects you to a homeland can't be replicated. So it's so awesome that there's a movie where we can see all types of greatness about Black people and about the continent and our heritage. I'm so excited to see the movie, and I really am the type to go to the movie theaters and fall asleep. I don't know, I'm narcoleptic, but I guarantee I will not fall asleep in this movie. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to go on the premiere day, but I'm late on the show, so I have been noticing that the tickets are all sold out. So way to go, that's exciting. I might have to catch it over the weekend and hear everybody else talk about it. But that's okay. I don't mind being late to see it because I'm just going so that they can have good box office success. And it's important that you don't watch it bootleg. Yeah, we all could watch it on the Fire Stick, but we need the numbers to show. And if the numbers start showing and the productions aren't happening, then we need to demand for more. Yeah, we need to create our own, that too, but we should demand for respect in what already exists because we helped to build it. We helped to build all of this, and there should be equity. I believe in equity and fairness, not superiority, so just trying to come to the table and get what is due for the work that you're given and the product that you're putting out. So go out and see it. Some of you might save your Valentine's. Don't save your Valentine's Day. I'm not even going to play around and suggest that you do that. You should spend Valentine's Day doing something and then a Valentine's Day plus on the 15th watching Black Panther. I'm not even suggesting. I want to make that perfectly clear that you skip on Valentine's Day and wait until the 15th to watch Black Panther. She deserves both. He deserves both. Maybe the 14th can be for her and the 15th could be for him. I don't know, but work it out. This year you get 2 days. A movie night on the 15th and the 14th, whatever y'all gonna do. So while I've been recording, I've been sipping on this ginger lime drink that I made. It is actually very delicious. And ginger is very good for your digestive system. I actually had a cold. I'm still getting over it. I have some congestion. But I took ginger, garlic, turmeric, honey, lemon juice. And I took that like it was Alka-Seltzer MD or your favorite cold killer. And it worked wonders immediately. Like, I would take it, and I don't have a problem with flavors. These are strong flavors, and I like strong flavors, so I don't have a problem taking it. But I took it, and you could feel the relief almost immediately. I'm not all into natural, although I would like to be, but honestly I'm not. But that, if you are sick, use some of what nature has given us. to heal yourself. I also have a hibiscus, cinnamon, vanilla, clove deal going back there. It's an East African beverage that I will be serving along with my meal. So I expect that to be great as well. I'm just chopping up some tomato for the salad. And getting those ingredients all put together in a bowl here. I was thinking when I talked about East African fashion and the fact that people are wearing dashikis and dressing up African-like, how important is it that we get it right, that we are dressing appropriate for the part of Africa that we're talking about? Is it possible for us as black people, I'm just going to say us because I mean, there's been comments about non-blacks dressing up, and I hate to say dressing up, but putting on on African clothing. But is there such thing as culture appropriation with blacks not of the actual African country putting on clothing and assimilating the culture without the research? Because I think that's pretty much what the argument is. I guess it's a little deeper than that, but that's part of the argument of when someone else does it. Are they being culturally insensitive when they take what is natural to you and then they kind of wear it like a costume? And in many ways, I guess we are doing that, but we're trying to pay homage. But are we just as guilty as some of the people that we talk about? So that just ran across my mind. I don't really have an answer to that. I just think it's food for thought, you know, because that's interesting. Because for this video, I thought, I'm going to put on like a dashiki print. Then I said no. And I don't even ordinarily wear a head wrap. But I did want to do something that I thought was culturally linking to Africa. So we have our tomatoes, we have our cucumber, we have cilantro in a bowl. Looks so pretty. It looks so pretty. I love the colors. This particular one calls for carrots. And like I told you, I bought prepackaged carrots because I'm lazy like that. And they already come grated. You can put any vegetables you want to into this salad. I saw many recipes. Some of them had, and I'm not measuring, although there calls for measurements. I have a recipe here, as you might have noticed, I've been looking at. It calls for measurements, but I just put in what I want to put in based on what I like, and then I move forward. It may not taste like what they intended it to taste like, but it's going to taste like what I like, and I'm okay with that. But you can put all types of vegetables into this. They say that it's just mainly the cucumber and tomato that are the staples of this particular dish, and then you can add on other vegetables. Like I saw one that had avocado in it, which I do like. I did not like avocado initially. I'm from the Midwest. I did not have an avocado until I moved to the West Coast, and I like them. They're very tasty, and I probably would have done an avocado in this one, but the recipe that I saw initially didn't have it, and I thought that what it did have sounded really, really good. So I'm using what's in that. And it did call for cabbage. I once again cheated, got the prepackaged cabbage. You might be better than me and go ahead and do it on your own. More power to you. It does ask for lemon. Okay. I thought I had a lemon here, but I only have a lime. They are not exactly interchangeable because the flavors are not exactly the same. But I think that using the lime would be perfectly acceptable, just because I'm getting the vibe on the flavors here. So I'm going to go ahead and use my lime because I have that and I don't have a lemon. Not smart. But I'm going to use this lime. I'm going to squeeze it in there. And I do not have a juice extractor. So what I do is I put my knife in there and I just get out all the juice that I can. And I do like to get the little pulp out there too. I think it adds to the flavor. This does not tell me to do that, but I'm going to do it that way because I want to. As you can hear, I'm just doing my own thing. I'm just in here cooking food. You know, I don't know if you use measurements in your own kitchen, but I don't. And since this isn't for sale or mass consumption by strangers, the people in my house will just have to eat it the way that I saw fit to have it. And that's what's great. The flavor lives in us anyway, you know. So I think I'm cooking like the ancestors right now. I'm really, really channeling my East African ancestors right now. And I'm just putting in what I want to put in. There were other places like islands that use this salad, that eat this salad. And that's not surprising because, you know, we were dropped all over the place and we migrated to a lot of places. Everything about us did not come as part of a slave trade. There were a lot of blacks that weren't slaves. There were a lot of blacks who were explorers. So it's not all slavery, but we did touch many parts of the world for a variety of reasons. And you can find the food and the culture and the history that we left in each of those places. You can see our magic there. I have a little green onion. They actually call it for spring onions. I don't know if this is a spring onion. I just know that my grocery store had what I call a green onion. They may call it a spring onion. A spring onion might be something entirely different. And that would probably be important, and I probably should have researched that because a green onion has a certain flavor that, I don't know, this spring onion might not have. This recipe does call for cumin, so I'll have to get some cumin. I have some here as a matter of fact. We'll just take a little cumin and put it in there. I love the flavor of cumin. I use it for my fish tacos, and I think that it's just a great flavor, so I'm going to use a lot of it. I'm going to use a lot of it in, I use it when I cook Mexican food, so I don't know. That could just be me and how I perceive it to be. This calls for serrano peppers. 2 of them. They say to seed them. I'm not seeding them because I like spice. So I'm not going to seed them. I can handle a serrano pepper with the seeds. I'll be okay. So I'll chop those up. This salad is looking very, very flavorful. The colors are amazing on it. I just think it's going to be a great tasting meal. And I'm glad that I have taken this opportunity to cook African food. Because while I frequently eat other food, I eat Chinese food, I eat Mexican food, I eat Mediterranean food, but I don't eat African food, and it's shameful. And it's part of the exposure. When you start to normalize things and make it acceptable, then we gravitate towards it. And unfortunately, sometimes we have to seek it if we want it, and we have to let people know that we're interested. So I think I'm going to start going to African restaurants more often. I think that you should too. We should start embracing African culture all the way around, not just while the movie is hot, but all the way around. Cause for sesame oil, or what they call gingerly oil. I could not find gingerly oil. I'm not sure what it is. I didn't do any research on that, and research is so important. Know what you're speaking about. Know what other people are talking about. Be educated, like our brother T'Challa, the scientist and teacher. Learn and teach. Learn and teach. I like the flavor of sesame oil, and I think with the serrano chilies, it's going to really have an awesome flavor. I'm going to get that paprika. paprika now. Give me one moment. I know that I have it here, but where is the question? This is what it looks like before I mix it up. Yummy. So we've had a great time today. Get an opportunity to celebrate the movie Black Panther, the greatness that is Africa, Eastern Africa in particular, because the fictional movie is based in Wakanda, which is placed in Eastern Africa. Wakanda does not exist, but if it did exist, it would exist in Eastern Africa. You can learn more about it in my comment section or in my description. I'll have links to all that I've talked about today. You can always search for all the information that you want to search for. Here's my meal, my great hibiscus tea. We have our Wakanda wings, our kachumbari salad, and our one walinasi rice. Looks so great. I'm going to pig out to this and enjoy it. I just want to make sure that we carry this moment beyond the moment. Take time to appreciate African culture because it is much more than what has been perpetuated in the media. Hopefully Hollywood will appreciate blacks in roles that extend beyond stereotypes and pay us accordingly for our work. We have heroes in our communities, much like T'Challa. Let's celebrate them and ourselves every day. We are kings and queens, not only in movies, but in real life. Please comment once again and let me know what you thought of the video. I'm accepting all topic and food suggestions. Also, if I have provided any misinformation, please correct me. Let's not let misinformation lead the nation. With that being said, keep cooking and conversing. Until the next meal, talk to you later.